Okay, so first of all, we'll talk about the topic today. Then coming onwards, uh, I'll we'll discuss through the SAP screen. Yeah.
Okay.
So TD is it's basically it's a transportation and the distribution TD. So TD basically it's a cover that logistic activities that is related to the that the transfer of a product between the two company owned location, uh, receipt of a purchase product from a vendor, delivery of from a delivering plant to a customer. So TD is basically it's a transportation and the distribution. So basically TD it has using with the three phases. One is your scheduling, one is your loading, and the third one is the delivery confirmation. The difference between a TD and the SD process, TD we are there are many features are available in that a TD process which are not feasible through the SD shipment. Yeah, because in the TD we are update system will allow and it's the facility to upload that we can do that loading process. Yeah, whether in that SD shipment we have that loading option, loading start, loading end, but here we are doing do the separate loading. Okay, separate loading. Why? Because that O3 defaults like that oil
Yeah, quantity conversion
quantity.
because
Yes,
yeah.
oil quantity. It's always fluctuate. For example, India. I sent like a sieve to which country? I will take an example to Russia. Okay, so India temperature is something like 35 to 40 degree temperature. So Russia, the temperature it's below 10% like that. So whenever from here to any other location, the material, the goods it has shifted, transport, then the oil density it's always fluctuate based on the temperature. So India temperature and Russia temperature both are different completely. So whenever we send any product from a hot location to hot environment to a cold environment, then the density it's always fluctuate. For example, here we are sending in a the quantity itself, for example, 100 ton we are sending, and there when it has reached the density, it has decreased because of the temperature. So that temperature we are updated into that O3 defaults. The temperature we are updating like if it is if you are sending in a kg and there it has updating as a liter, then the value it will be automatically changes. Only the difference is SD shipment and the TD shipment, because we are getting much more facility in much more features into that TD shipment which are not available into that SD process. What are the features are not available? What are the features are available into that TD shipment, that we'll discuss. Like TD shipment, see, I have not started. Basically, I should start with the what is upstream, what is the midstream, what is the downstream. This part I have not started. I should cover this topic. I have not started because you already work on the SAP
Yes,
IS
I have
Oil
an
area.
idea. I have an
You have
idea.
an idea. Upstream basically it's a what is upstream? Can you any idea do you
Upstream,
have?
as per my understanding, as far as I remember, it's basically the drilling operation. Basically, your joint venture accounting and all. Drilling operation, midstream is basically your refining, and downstream is basically, I think, the like transportation and selling to the customer. That is the brief idea
Your
that I have.
voice not clear to me. Still, I'm facing.
Yeah, so basically, upstream is basically, as per my understanding, it's the drilling process. So the drilling of the oil and then, drilling excavation of the oil. So in upstream, you have this, I think, joint venture accounting, JV, and all these things, transportation. That is just a rough idea that I have. And downstream is basically your the selling and transportation to your customers and all this.
Mhm.
I mean, that's very a bad definition, but yeah, that's what I remember.
Upstream, midstream, and the downstream. We have that process, right?
Yeah,
Upstream,
yeah,
basically, as you mentioned in a correct way, upstream it's basically exploration process where it's all started with the crude oil. What is the crude oil? Crude oil basically it's a naturally occurring mixture of hydrocarbon found through underground. So it can appear in the form of highly that viscous liquid to a thick tar like substance. The color of crude oil can also range from light yellow to dark brown or black. So basically, whenever we get that crude oil, through crude oil, all the products are been the taken care through the crude oil. So it has segregated through the crude oil based on the
Okay.
temperature. Okay. So upstream basically it is using through the oil and gas exploration or the production activities. Okay.
Okay.
So it can be get through sea, through that any surface land area. So we can get it anywhere. So yeah, so that upstream sector basically it is also known as the exploration and the production sector. It is consisted of process and operation that involve searching for potential underground or underwater crude oil and natural gas fields. So drilling of exploratory wells and subsequently drilling and operating that wells that you know
Okay.
recover and bring the crude oil raw natural gas to the surface. So uh, basically if you think about that, in recent years there is an evident shift towards the inclusion uh, of an unconventional gas as part of the upstream sector. So
Okay.
the distribution part and basically it's not comes into the upstream area. Distribution part, it's basically into the downstream sector. So upstream, like as I mentioned, like exploration, drilling and development, production. So there are few features are coming, few process like the geo. First of all, they are looking into that geological prospectivity and exploratory drilling, field planning, where they will dig the surface and they'll extract the oil, engineering and construction. So what are the expenses has been occurred during the upstream area, and the production like well completion, production operation, well intervention, workover. Like basically in the upstream area, we company did not get much profit over there. Company
Correct.
basically get the profit during the downstream activities.
Okay.
Midstream company basically they are giving to that third party system, third party company, midstream. And as I said, like upstream is like that. Like midstream normally it is using for the transport and storage, process and storage, like pipeline or oil and gas transfer. That transportation activity basically it is using the transportation and storage activities. That is the downstream. Yeah, sorry, that is the midstream. And the downstream area basically it's a product preparation and the usage. It's a refining and a distribution, sales, marketing. If we'll talk about that, retail. So these are the areas the downstream sector basically it's working. Like as I mentioned, downstream sector is the last one in the oil and gas supply chain and captures the operations that take place after the production phase, right to the point of sale to the end consumers. It's included this process of refining crude oil and distributing its byproduct like the gasoline. A lot of products, that come into through the crude oil, like the gasoline, NGLs,
Correct.
LNG, liquid natural gas, diesel, jet fuel, fuels, white fuel, heating oil, kerosene, that sulfur, what else? Like a lot of chemicals also. Yeah, petrol, diesel. So basically, like downstream process, it's a kind of product preparation and usage, and it has been using as a refining and distribution, sales, marketing, retail, this kind of things where basically it has been used like that. Let me open that SAP screen. If I'll not touch 3 4 minutes, then it will. So this screen it looks like that. This is the scheduling document screen. So this is the screen where that the scheduling document we are processing. Scheduling means it's a planning document.
Right.
Planning document means where we do all the planning activities. Like we have to decide like whether we are putting which vehicle number, what is the transportation unit, how many compartments into that transportation unit. Yeah, and who is the driver, whether he is having license or not, what is the transportation planning fund for this activity, what is the shipment type, and whether we are using a that purchase like it's inbound process we are using, or it has
Yeah.
been used as a purchase or a sales process, whether we are
Or
using or
both.
whether we are using a reservation. Basically, as I mentioned, like transportation and the distribution, basically it has process into a three phase: scheduling and the loading and the delivery confirmation. What is the scheduling? Scheduling, it's a delivery of a product from a delivering plant to a customer, or transfer of product between the to company owned location, otherwise receipt of a purchase product from a vendor. So
Okay.
if you see here, DRS, D means this is the, D means this is the delivery, R means
Delivery. Okay.
this is the reservation,
Reservation. Yes. What is S?
S means this is the notification, shipping notification. So scheduling, loading, and the delivery confirmation. So basically, like whenever we process that a TD shipment, it will
Correct.
process through purchase. Otherwise, we can do sales process. If it is a purchase process, then we have to, for example, we are doing that. That sales order scenario we are processing through the sales order. We are creating the sales order delivery. Scheduling,
Correct.
basically it's a scheduling tool where we do all the planning kind of activities over here. Here we have that a shipment type. Yeah. So shipment type, basically what are the use of the shipment type? Shipment type, it's if you'll drop down here, then you can realize shipment type, it's a basically it's use the bulk shipment type. This is the bulk shipment type. Shipment type, we have different standard shipment type and the bulk shipment type. What is bulk shipment type? Bulk shipment type, it's a use that you enter that determines the processing of the shipment through scheduling, loading, and the delivery confirmation. So
Okay.
basically, the bulk shipment type, different type of shipment type we have, like the truck, rail, pipeline, ship, etc. Like mode of transport. What are the mode
Okay.
of transport we are using over there? If we'll take an example, using the bulk shipment type, it is possible to determine the means of transport, like road, sea, air. So for the shipment, okay. So what is the mode of for transport for the shipment type? Whether it will be processed through road, whether it will be processed through sea or air for the shipment.
Correct.
So it is possible to define the shipment unit of measure
Okay.
here. Shipment unit of measure. It is defined to that possible to define a shipment unit of measure. All shipment quantities are converted to a shipment unit of measure, which is the unit of measure used a display planning quantity during the scheduling. Let's take an example.
Correct.
In the delivery, my unit of measure is kg. So while doing that shipment, my unit of measure is it has mentioned is liter. Then system, while doing that loading, system will automate the unit of measure as a liter, not as a kg. It will convert through kg to liter. Where is the setup? In the material master.
Okay. So just one question here. So let's say I have to assign deliveries. So are you able to hear my voice? Hello.
Yes, yes, clear,
So
go ahead.
let's say in the sales order and delivery it's something else. Let's say it's VB6. Okay, and in the
Ah,
shipment type, the default is in liters. So let's say while I'm assigning this delivery to the shipment, automatically it will be converting to liters, or is it something that you are saying?
it will automatically converted from that BB6 to the liter.
Okay,
But in the third party scenario, it will be the different. But in the standard process, it will be converted into the liter. But in
okay,
third party process, that is a different scenario. Third party scenario, because what happened, like we're creating that sales order, and
correct.
through sales order, like your PR will create. Then based
Okay,
on that PR, it will go to the vendor. We send that requisition to the vendor. Vendor check
from
that
there
what
on
is the PR it has been created, then he created the
PO
purchase order. Yeah, purchase order, we send it to the vendor. Then vendor that finish
goods
the
receipt
product,
happen.
and yeah, finish the product and deliver that items to the customer.
Okay,
Okay. So when vendor had delivered, so it will process through the shipment. That will
okay,
also process through the shipment. Scheduling, loading, and delivery confirmation also it will started.
okay,
So while doing that loading, we are updating that what are the whatever the unit of measure has been updated into that delivery, the same unit of measure it will uploaded into the loading document. That is something auto process. I'll tell you later. Yeah.
okay,
So like this is all about the shipment type. Basically, it's a bigger configuration. Shipment type, if I'll show you the configuration setup, it's a major configuration. Major rule is there for the shipment type in the
okay, okay,
TD shipment process. A lot of
okay.
things are there. Whether this shipment type it's relevant to a shipment cost or not, that will be decided through the shipment type.
Shipment type. Okay,
Okay. There is the shipment type. It has been in the configuration setup. You can see whether the shipment is relevant for a shipment cost or not. whether in the shipment type, it's what is the mode of transport. These are the things also it has been mentioned. So what are the setup, you can see it here in the general setting here: compatibility checks, unit of measure, additional settings, shipment cost relevance, exchange assignment, dangerous goods. All the things are coming from shipment type. Okay. So transportation planning part, you know that what is the TPP?
Yeah, I
In
know.
the short form
Yeah,
we call it a TPP. TPP basically it represents a group of employees responsible for planning transportation. A transportation
yeah,
planning point can cover one or more shipping points.
correct.
Like the
And it,
TPP basically are independent of the other organizational unit in the process. Basically,
yeah,
what
I
is the
think
configuration of the
it is assigned to company code, I think.
correct. It's assigned to the company code. If you go to the table TTDS, there you can see
Yeah,
shipment type. Sorry. There you can see the TPP. It is assigned to the company code. Okay, so
and I
TPP it's also a major role because we are updating many phases that a TPP. Based on that
correct.
TPP system will understand what is the the TPP we are using for the shipment.
Okay, so I think the shipment for the shipment cost, the pricing procedure for the shipment cost, I think it's as per the TPP only, as per my
Correct,
understanding.
correct.
Yeah.
You are correct. You are right. So here one more major thing we are using, that is the intransit storage location and the intransit plant.
Okay.
Intransit storage location and the intransit plant. What is intransit storage location? What is
In transit
intransit
storage
plant?
location, as per my understanding, let's say, okay, so that this just correct me if I'm wrong. So in transit storage location is, let's say I have the let's say I have a refinery, I have the fuel there. Okay, so my stock and can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, 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 sir. Yes, yes, sir.
So
I
it is
hear
there.
you.
So
Go
I
ahead.
have yeah, I have the I what I have I'm tracking my inventory there. So this is the amount I have. Let's say 500 liters. So let's say when it is being transported, let's say through some truck or some let's say through some pipeline. So that is that stock is on the move. That is basically my in transit storage location basically. And I think in transit plant. Just correct me if I'm wrong. I may be wrong here. Let's say like in transit plant, like when we are transporting through, like let's say through ships, or when transporting through, that is your basically in transit plant maybe.
See, you're right. So intransit means that is not the actual plant.
Correct.
Intransit means intransit plant. Intransit means it's a notional plant we can talking about. No, what is notional? That is not the actual plant.
Correct.
While
It's
doing
a
that
virtual.
transportation activities, we are considering uh, it's a temporary plant. Like only
Correct.
for the intransit process. Intransit means from India to Russia, I'm sending some ship. So
Correct.
in between, while loading that items, I'm storing that product into a container. That container we can say it's a storage location. This is my location where I store the product. Okay,
Okay.
so the
Okay.
setup we called it's a plant we called. Okay, so
Okay.
in transit storage location, it's represent basically it's a product which is being transported on a vehicle as part of a shipment. So by defining
Okay.
in transit storage location, you can manage and control stock after it has left the loading plant and while in transit. So
So
basically during that.
just one just one question. So basically, in transit plant and storage location, what is the difference? So in transit storage location and plant means when we are transporting small amount, it's a storage location, or when we are transporting in bulk, that's a plant. Is it something like that, or am I wrong?
See, I'll tell you that difference. Like in transit plan, it's basically it's a when shipping large quantities of a product over long distance, such as in pipeline
Okay.
and marine shipment, it can be necessary to maintain a segregated, that overview of the in transit stock. So this
Okay.
can be done by representing the vehicle as a separate plant, known as
Okay.
the in transit plant.
Okay.
Okay, it's possible to allocate all the vehicle to a single in-transit plant, or alternatively to set up a separate in-transit plant for each of the vehicle.
Okay.
You got my point,
So
right?
I got your point. And for storage location, let's say I'm transporting by truck. So since it's a small quantity, it can be a in transit storage location. Am I correct on that?
Correct. Because whenever you send that items into a truck in India, like that if you go to that any truck, like basically like Bharat Benz or any truck, basically
Okay.
they are delivering that fuels. and
Okay.
it's a highly viscous kind of thing. So whenever you see any that petrol container kind of things, if you see that container, there are five compartments are there. It has mentioned compartment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the outside. And
Correct.
also you can see over there it is mentioned 5,000 compartment, one size 5,000, two 5,000, three
Okay.
4,000, five that three four compartment 4,000, five compartment 4,000, like that they have mentioned over there.
Correct. Correct.
And
Correct.
below that compartment, one pipeline also it has uh, it has been attached. So
Okay.
they do that. Whenever you get any
Okay.
water tanker also, one pipe it has been attached with the tanker, and we put
Okay.
our pipe, and then we store our the
Okay.
water into our that some yard is there where we put
Okay.
the water. So oil also, they are following the same things, like they have
Correct.
the different kind of compartment. Compartment one, they switch on that, and they, what are the stocks are over there, then they store into their uh, location, means in that surface underground the storage been, it has been there, like the storage location it has been there. Okay, so they store the product over there. So for every truck, for example, in a day they got around 2 3 trucks. So whenever they this is out of SAP, I'm just telling you. So
No, 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 that's
uh,
fine.
yeah, so whenever that truck reach to the petrol pump, so one employee they go to that truck, and for for quality check, they have some kind of that 3 4 liter kind of a jar they have. It's a kind of aluminum jar. They store that oil there, because if any future, if any quality check or anything will be happen, if any customer will raise that complaint, then they will show that, okay, we on that truck, what are the product we have received, for
Okay.
safety purpose we store that product, and we also done that quality check, and it's for as
Okay.
per our the standard. So they have
Okay.
not added any kind of things over there. So based on that, they store, like the story, they store I think 3 month maximum for a period of
Okay.
that for every container. Okay, so in transit storage location, what happened, like as I mentioned, like storage location represents, basically it's a product which is being transported on a vehicle as part of the shipment. So during that loading, the product is transferred from a loading plant into the in-transit storage location. So from that point on, and until the product is delivery confirmed, the control and ownership of the product remains to the delivering plant. So
Okay.
what are the master data are required for the TD shipment? Basically, these are the master data. It has been mentioned over here also. You can see it here. Transport unit,
Okay.
vehicle, and the O3 defaults. These
Vehicle.
are the three master data which is
O3 default.
required for the TD process.
Okay.
Transport unit, vehicle, and the O3 defaults. These are the three master data as are required. Transport unit, what is a transport unit? What is vehicle? What is O3 defaults? So I'll talk. Transport unit, basically, like that whenever we create in the vehicle, like this is the transport unit. This compartment we called it a transport unit. Sorry, this setup we called it a transport unit. In this setup, there are three compartments are there. Okay, so these three compartment, it's a kind of one kind of container. We called it a transport unit. Here we can added many products. Here we can added the fuels. Here we can store that diesel, or here we can upload that sulfur. Okay, so
Okay.
all are the different compartments. Okay,
Okay.
so this is the vehicle. Here driver is sitting. This is the vehicle engine. We called it a primary mover, and this area we
Okay.
called it a secondary mover.
Primary mover means the entire group, right? The entire vehicle is the primary mover, and the transport units are the basically secondary movers, right? Is that correct, or
No, no,
like
no,
am I wrong?
no, no, no. Secondary mover means where the engine is not there. Secondary mover.
Okay. Acha,
Secondary
acha.
mover means
Okay.
apart from
Understood.
that
Understood.
engine,
Understood.
we call it a secondary mover. Primary mover means where the driver is sitting and the engine is there. Like in the train, let's take an
Got it.
example
Got
of the
it.
train. So here it has added the meter. Meter will check that when any stock will be, that unloaded. That time meter will check if any stock has been stored over there or not. So these are the transaction code are being used for the transportation unit to create the transport unit. These are the transactions codes are required. And
Okay.
we assign that a transport. I'll show you later like what are the fields are
No
available into
problem.
the transport unit. What are the fields are available into the vehicle. So transport unit, these are the transaction code, and vehicle, these are the transaction code. Vehicle, the T code is OIGV. Transport into will check something it would be there. Okay, then we'll talk about header vehicle. There are different tabs are here. There are different tabs are here. Here, header, vehicle, document, compartment planning, stages, maintenance stages, event, document quantity is also one more tab is there. So
Okay.
basically, we are using the vehicles, which is mandatory, documents planning, and the compartment planning. These are the three things which we required: vehicle, document, compartment planning. Document, we are updating if any other reference document, like whether it is a reservation, whether it is outbound delivery, or whether it is a shipment notification. Vehicle,
Okay.
we update the vehicle number over there. Okay, and the compartment planning, there are many compartments. Like if you see in this,
So I have one.
picture.
I just have one question here.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. So basically, in your LE shipment, that is your we have this route determination. Is this route
correct.
determination? Yeah. We have these stages and maintenance stages. I think is the route determination only, right?
Absolutely, absolutely correct. Absolutely. We are that stages it will automatically come from where it will come from the delivery. Okay,
Delivery. Okay.
we are updating route trolls table, trolz table. If you go over there, then you can see route updated based on the deliveries. So
Correct.
whatever the route we have maintained, so that you can see into that stages, maintain stages.
Yeah.
If you change,
Yeah.
if you want
Actually,
to change anything.
yeah. Actually, in LE shipment, we have that option of copying from the delivery or redetermining the routes or something like that. Do you have anything similar here or just us?
Yes, yes. From delivery it will copy.
Okay.
Once you will put that into the document tab, we'll put that delivery. Then whatever the informations are there into that delivery, it will update it into the shipment. So it will
Okay.
populate into the stages, maintenance stages. Only the vehicle. This is the master data. Means
Okay.
see, vehicle also we are putting the route. Document also we are putting that route. So whatever the details we are updating into the vehicle, the route should be same. We are updating the TPP route to transportation unit. What else? Yeah, basically these are the things, and that carrier details. We are updating all those details over there into that vehicle. The same route also we are putting into here into the document tab. Okay,
Okay.
so that details it will automatically grab, or it will automatically update it into the stages. Events, something, it's a predefined things, we are updating. It's a configuration part which we are
Okay.
updating. Basically, we don't use this. This is add-on things. Basically, we don't use this tab.
Okay.
Basically, we are using these three things: vehicle, document, and the compartment planning.